அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி. May all sentient beings live in happiness and the divine feet of Vallalar be praised. My dear brothers and sisters in spirit, in this class we are going to talk about ANMA DHARSHAN, to see and experience one's own Anma. In this stage, the soul sees itself for the first time without the disturbance of the 36 tattwas. And Vallalar Swami puts it, I am quoting him, Ninnai Niyindri Aridal Uyir Anubhavam. So far, we have been wrongly identifying ourselves with the 36 tattwas. It was only the tattwas who were functioning through our body and mind. Now we are going to see and experience our self with the capital S for the first time. See, there is a lot of confusion about this word, using this word self. It could mean three things. Your anava or chittam in your mind, it is again tattva, and then it could mean your jiva or psyche or soul, and finally atman. So there are three levels of self, and we must be very clear about these three levels of usage of the term self. Most of the Westerners use it as only a thought or mind. For them there is no difference between mind and psyche or atman, but we are using it as atman. And some Vedantins say atman is Brahman. That is another level. Here in Saiva Siddhanta as well as in Vallalar's Suddha Sanmarga, we have got a clarification. There are four levels of consciousness: mind and its ahankar, and then your psyche, soul, jiva, and then anma, that is pure spirit. I am using the term spirit to denote anma for clarification. Hey. When one has ANMA DHARSHAN, one will experience Anmananda, bliss of Anma. One might have many diseases in his body, debts, financial debts, and all sorts of problems, physical, mental, financial, etc. But one won't touch them, not disturb, nor be disturbed by them. He will be immersed in the bliss of silence of Atman realization, that is self-realization. Self-realization will begin with Atma Darshan and will be completed in Anma Suti. We are going to see that in the next class. He is no longer interested in worldly matters like money, fame or sex or worldly comforts or luxury. Anmanandam will destroy interest in worldly pleasures like Vishayanandam and Karananandam. See, Vallalar Swami, out of his experience, has given us 13 forms of Ananda, bliss, blissful states. First two are Vishayananda, the pleasure we get out of worldly affairs. And then Karanananda, Karanam means mind, intellectual pleasure. When you read, you get intellectual pleasure. Now we are having intellectual pleasure out of our intercourse with each other by language. And Anmananda is beyond all these first two stages of Vishayananda and Karanananda, intellectual pleasures and sensual pleasures. In fact, when compared with Anmananda, these two are nothing. That's why the sadhak seeks solitude, goes to a mountain or a forest. He prefers meditation to remain always in his Atmananda. Vallalar has written a whole chapter of 10 verses on ANMA DHARSHAN. In one of the verses, we cannot quote all. In one of the verses, he is asking himself, when will this blabbering of the mad world come to an end? When will I have the unitary vision of Advaitic experience? Let me quote it in Tamil. பித்தெல்லாம் உடைய உலகர்தம் பிதற்றெல்லாம் என்று ஒழிந்திடுமோ ஒன்றென காணும் உணர்ச்சி என்றுருமோ. பித்தெல்லாம் உடைய உலகர்தம் கலக பிதற்றெல்லாம் என்று ஒழிந்திடுமோ ஒன்றென காணும் உணர்ச்சி என்று ஊருமோ. Okay, now we are entering into the yogic portion of this Anma DHARSHAN, because that is the point of our Dasakarya yoga. It's a yoga. We are not entering into the theory of Saiva Siddhanta. It's a vast ocean lake subject. We cannot complete it in a few months or weeks. So, first one must have the earnestness, the aspiration to see and experience Anma. According to some Vedantic schools, Anma cannot be seen. It is neither here nor there. It is neither in the outside world nor in the inside the body. But according to Saiva Siddhanta and Vallalar, Anma can be seen. Inside the Anma, you can see the dancing light of Shiva, that is Arulperum Jyoti. He says, Jyotiyul, Jyotiyul, Jyoti. The first Jyoti, light, is your light of consciousness. The second light is the light of Anma, and the final light is the light of Arulperum Jyoti or God. So he has given us the location, the function, the properties, everything he has given us. We saw that in the last class. Now, what are the indications that one has attained Atmananda? This is a very important question. Just close your eyes and see inside with an intention of seeing your Atma. What happens? You will have a lot of thoughts coming from your body, like hunger, thirst, and all sorts of impulses from your sleep, sex, all sorts of thoughts will come to you. And then finally you will have likes and dislikes of the mind, mental disturbances. Your greed, your competition, all sorts of mental disturbances will be there. You forget about all those things, you avoid them, but you keep persisting in your aspiration for seeing Anma. Finally, one day, say after 6 months, it took me 6 months, so 6 months or 1 year or even 10 years, what will happen? Suddenly, one day, your mind and body, they would have exhausted all their efforts to distract you. That is Maya. After that, it will fall silent. Your mind, after its immense efforts to distract you, it will fall silent. You would have known all of its tricks. And that silence is Anma. See, that silence. See, all these thoughts are only mental noises. When there is no noise, there will be silence. And that silence is Anma. And then after that, if you still persist, you can see the light of Anma. So this is the first indication. This silence, this bliss of Anma is called Anmananda. Once one has tasted this Anmananda, he will not be interested in the noise created by the body by way of sensual pleasures or by karanam. mind, intellectual pleasures. He will be interested only in that Anmananda. That is why he goes into mountains and caves and start meditating and enter into the blissful state of Anma. That is the major indication. If no more thoughts arise in your mind, you are already in the center. Your center of consciousness is already embedded in Anma. That is one sure indication. And Swami has given us another indication. If you go to Vadalur temple, you will see 7 colors of 7 screens representing 7 levels of Shakti. In religious terms, 7 religious deities. They are abstracting this sight of Anma, Icha, Kriya, Jnana. We have seen that. So you have to cross over those 7 Shaktis or energies. Of course, they are helpful in the management of our worldly affairs. But when you want to attain Samadhi or see your Anma, they are obstructions. They are obstacles. So you have to go beyond these 7 Shaktis shown by the 7 colors of colored screens. And then there is yet another indication, result of your attaining Anma. You will want to alleviate the pain of other beings. See, there are 2 things. One is internal considering, another is external considering. An esoteric seeker is not interested in internal considering. He doesn't bother about his own pain, or he is not interested in increasing his pleasure, but he wants to alleviate the pain of other beings. This is called external conditioning, external considering. So you take pity upon other beings and you want to relieve them of their pain. This is called compassion in our system. And Vallalar Swami here makes a turnabout. He wants to reverse the process. The effect becomes the cause. He says, start with Jivakarunya. You may not have attained Anmananda, but practice Jivakarunya. What will happen in the end, say after some months, you will attain the bliss of Anma. This is a shortcut as shown by Vallalar. You can read in the biographies of many Vedantins that after attaining their Anma, they will want to alleviate the pain of other beings. And Vallalar Swami reverses it. And there is one more advantage to this process. Vallalar Swami tells us, what is that? With the regular course of Vedanta, you will attain that bliss and remain in that. Good. But Vallalar Swami was not only a Bhakta or Mukta, he was also a scientist. So he says, a change will take place in your body. Your body will start producing, secreting Amrita. When this secretion of Amrita accumulates to some level, your diseases in the body will be cured. You can postpone your onslaught of old age or even conquer death. It depends upon the accumulation of Amrita or nectar you collect in your body by way of practicing Jivakarunya. And then you enter into the state of Arul Neri, the way of absolute compassion. In that state, even the final state of Ambrosia, that is called Arul Amudam, that will secrete in your mind, in your brain. And this body, entire body will be transformed into a body of compassion. Adiya Vadiyu, aduve Arul Vadiyu, Swami says. So that is the scientific version of Vallalar's way of attaining ANMA DHARSHAN. And There are some meditation. Of course, there are hundreds of meditations for self-realization. We cannot see all of them. I have talked about them in my speeches. You can find them on YouTube. I will narrate 4 or 5 meditations for self-realization. Swami says, first you must have aspiration to see that. I told you that at the outset of this meeting. Swami says, Poduvaikana ulle asai pongi tadumbude. See, Podu means Anma. It is a common term for all beings. It is not Jiva, individual soul, but a common term for all beings. It's a common noun, an abstract noun. That is where Lord comes and dwells. So, Podu means Chidambaram, Chitrambalam. A whole temple was built at Chidambaram some 2000 years ago. So, this Podu means Anma. You must have interest in seeing that. When that interest becomes complete, say 100%, you will see your Atman, Tiruchitrambalam. And one way of attaining it is that to constantly remember. Nowadays, these new age gurus make much of this self-remembering or self-awareness. This is not something new. It was practiced by Saivite people for some 2000 years. Whenever Vallalar Swami wrote something, at the beginning of the essay and at the end of his writing, he will always write Tiruchitrambalam. What is meant by Tiruchitrambalam? Chitrambalam means Anma. Tiru means indestructible, undying, eternal, immortal. So, Tiruchitrambalam means your Atman, the common, not individual, it will die. The common Atman, it will never die. Tiruchitrambalam, it is eternal. That is why it is given the epithet Tiruchitrambalam. So, it has been practiced by Saivite saints for some 2000 years. So, this is not something new. Constantly remembering oneself that one is not this body, not this mind, not the 24 tattwas, but not even your psyche, but your Atman. So, this is another way of constantly remembering one's own Atman, self-remembering. This is one technique used by Vallalar and other saints. The second thing is, Swami says, தன்னை எறிந்து இன்பமுற வெண்ணிலாவே ஒரு தந்திரம் நீ சொல்ல வேண்டும் வெண்ணிலாவே. In another verse, a song, a lyrical song. Oh full moon, reveal to me a technique so that I can see and enjoy the bliss of my Anma. தன்னை அறிந்து இன்பமுற. See, when is one having real bliss? Only when one attains his Anma. Tannai arindu inbamura venilave, a full moon. Here God is referred to as full moon. Oru thandiramni, a technique. Show me a way. And in that lyric, he has given us a lot of details about this Anma Darshanam. I cannot enter into the whole thing. Let me point out only one thing. What happens when you attain Anmananda? Well, time will stop in your mind. You can bring it to an end. The ending of time takes place inside your body. Because, as we saw earlier, time is only one of the 7 Vidya tattwas. Where are they? They are functioning in the Preraka Maya, that is semi-pure Maya realm. And beyond that, we have got Sutta Maya realm, where we have got 5 Siva Tattwas, and Anma is beyond all these 36 Tattwas. So, once you have tasted this bliss of Anma, what happens is that you are going beyond time. Time has stopped in your mind, in your consciousness. When time stops, what happened? You are going beyond the cycle of births and deaths, that is samsara, and you become a mukta. You attain mukti, salvation or enlightenment in your consciousness, but not in your body. For that we need the instructions of Vallalar. We have already seen that. So, This is another technique, and there are some easy techniques. One is called Purvamadi Dhyanam, meditation on the center of your eyebrows. This place is the Purva Madhi. These are your eyebrows, and Madhi means middle. In the center of your eyebrows, you are always concentrated. You can do it for all the 24 hours. Whenever you feel free, keep your mind always in this place. This is only the first stage. But the real stage is to see inside this center, at the center of your head, you will have the pineal gland. Inside that pineal gland, there is an empty space, and beyond that empty space in the causal body, you will have Atman. It is the silent state. Not only it could be described in two ways. It's a form of light as well as it's a form of space. Sivaveli, Tiruveli, Taniveli, Indra, Gurum, Arulveli. So it's a form of space as well as it's a form of light. So inside, how to practice it, I have given the meditation in detail. If you can listen to my video lecture demonstration on YouTube, it is called Ak Dhyana. When you pronounce the Tamil letter Ak, you will feel a sensation of pressure upon the roof of your mouth, above the roof of your mouth. If you keep on concentrating on that, one day you will see your Atman. This is called Ak Dhyana or Ayya meditation. That is another way of meditation for self-realization. But be careful, I have already warned in that lecture not to practice this for more than 1 minute. More than 1 minute a day. For the first 6 months. After that, you can increase it by 1 more minute. You can do it for 2 minutes for another 6 months. So every 6 months, increase the time of meditation just by 1 minute. Well, and there is yet another meditation. It is called a lamp meditation. Vilakku Dhyanam. You can place your lamp, agal vilakku, on your palm, on the left hand, above your eyes, at the center of your eyebrows, and you can watch it, say for 3 minutes or 5 minutes without blinking. I have described the process in that meditation. You can see it on YouTube. And Vallalar Swami gives us another practical meditation. He calls it in Nitya Volukam, ANMA Volukam, discipline of the ANMA. What was Jiva Volukam? We have already seen that. Jiva Volukam means you treat all human beings as equal and as yourself. You don't see any difference between people by their color or gender or caste. You don't see any difference between among them. You see all human beings as your own brothers and sisters or as yourself. That is Jiva Volukam. Now here in Anma Volukam, you are treating all beings, all sentient beings, not only human beings, but all beings like plants, animals, birds, all sentient beings as your own self. That is the truth. What does Vedanta tell us? Vedanta is called Abheda Vadam. Vedam means difference. Vedam means its opposite. There is no difference. Non-dualism. There is no duality. Non-dualism means you see everything as yourself. So real Abheda Vadam, real Vedanta was given us practically by Vallalar in this meditation. And then a very important meditation is here. Why are we now not able to see our Anma? When Swami has answered this question in the construction of his temple at Vadalur. See, there are 7 screens, and beyond that, those screens, a mirror is placed. That mirror is our ANMA. Only through the mirror you can see Aruperum Jodi, the divine light. What does it mean? Only after seeing your ANMA, and inside that Atma you can see Aruperum Jyoti. And now there is an obstacle here in our physical body and in the causal body. Tirukadavam Tiravayo Tiraikalellam Tavirte. Swami says, there is a door here, in this place there is a door, and that door must be opened. The door must be opened. That is why we blow our breath in Vasi Yoga, and then we concentrate on this point. And there are so many, and we use Karisalai. We rub the paste of Karisalai upon the roof of our mouth, and we take in Karisalai Suranam first thing in the morning. So there are many ways given by Vallalar Swami to open this door. Tirukadavam Tiravayo Tiraikalellam Tavirte. This, unless this door is opened, we cannot enter into the house of God. How to open that door? Formerly, during the reign of religions, people thought only God could open that door. And Swami Vallalar has given us another option. He says, by practicing Jiva Karunya, you will be given a key by God to open that door, and you can open it and enter into it. You can enter into the house of God, into the kingdom of God. So Jiva Karunyam is the way to get that key with which you could open that door. This is another option recently discovered by Vallalar in the 19th century. And he tells us he gives us one example. It's a bit controversial, but it is my duty to tell you. Swami Dayumanavar is supposed to be a great Vedantin, Mukta. And Vallalar Swami says, even great saints like Vedantins like Swami Dayumanavar, they will be walking around in front of the door because they did not practice Jiva Karunya. So one day when Suddha Sanmarga shines brightly in this world, they will descend once again into a human body, they will practice Jiva Karunya and get this key with which they could open the door of Mukti and enter into it. And that's why some people think, normally Vallalar Swami never mentions other saints, but here he particularly mentions Dayumana Swami, and that's why people think it was Dayumana Swami, it was Vallalar's previous birth as Dayumana Swami. Dayumana Swami was none other than Vallalar in his previous birth. That is one interpretation. Well, let us not enter into that. So, what is the meaning? Here there is a door, and that door must be, it is in the causal body, that door must be opened by various ways, and the easiest way is to practice Jiva Karunya, to be constantly in that state of Dayavu or compassion. And Swami Vallalar says, why are we given this special characteristic of mind and its thoughts? Only in order to concentrate on this door and open it. Only when you open that door, you can enter into the kingdom of God, into the house of God. You can become a Mukta. And inside, you will see the entire cosmos there. Ulagelam kandidum or ulavai arindilire. Now, wormhole is made much more of in modern science. They say there is a wormhole through which you can enter into all the dimensions. But scientists like Michio Kaku say it will take another 1000 years for the scientists to devise methods to enter into this wormhole. But Swami already, 150 years Swami Vallalar has already mentioned about this wormhole. It is inside your body. This is Tirukadavam Tirathal, this door. Once you open the door and enter into it, you can see the entire cosmos inside. Joseph Campbell, the mythologist, he has written a whole book on this topic, inner reaches of outer space. You can refer to that. So once you enter into that place, you can see all the galaxies in the entire cosmos. So this is the only way for attaining mukti, siddhi, immortality, divinity, for everything, to open the door and enter into the kingdom of God. That door must be opened. It can be opened by your own efforts, by practicing Jiva Karunya. That's why Swami says, my son, there is only one thing worth thinking about, not about your money, your comforts, your luxuries, your BMW car. No, they are not worth thinking about, because every single thought, see for instance, one single thought fetched a man 100 billion rupees a day. Another single thought made another man the world's richest man. So one single thought could be worth billions and billions of rupees. Don't waste even a single thought. Use always your thought to push it upon your this door here. Enthagu Sitrambalate, Swami says, Enna Tagundadu, what is worth thinking about? Sitrambalam. Here is Sitrambalam. So always make use of your thought only for pushing against it and opening that door. So these are some of the techniques of meditation to open that door. So we have seen what is ANMA DHARSHAN, seeing and experiencing the bliss of ANMA Pudu, and seeing Tiruchitrambalam. Inside that, later we will see about the dancing Nataraja, the dancing light of Aruperinjodi called Lord Nataraja. In the next sessions, we have got five more sessions. In the next class, we will see about Anma Suti, how to detach, how to go beyond this Anma Darshanam. And then we have got 4 more subjects. Siva Rupam, form of Shiva, Siva Darshanam, seeing Shiva, and then union with Shiva called Shiva Yogam, and then living with the Shiva, it is called Shiva Bhogam. Bhogam means enjoyment. That is the real Bhogam, not these worldly pleasures. Man was not designed for worldly pleasures. Of course, this is only an indication, a model for attaining that Shiva Bhoga. That Shiva Bhoga will be billions of times much more blissful than the worldly pleasures like Vishayananda and Karanananda. Well, we'll discuss about them later when we enter into Shiva Bhoga. So, today we have seen Anma Darshanam. This is real self-realization. What is called self-realization? Atman realization. With that, I would like to conclude today's speech. Thank you. Arutperum Jodi, Arutperum Jodi, Taniperum Karunai, Arutperum Jodi. May all sentient beings live in happiness. May the divine feet of Vallalar Swami be praised. Thank you.